a list of stars that never ends. You're our guest in the front row. Now it's time to start the show. Branson Webcast Show, interviews with folks you know. Come along and join the fun. In our books, you're number one.
From the live entertainment capital of the world, you're listening to BransonWebcast.com with your hosts, Hamner and Barber.
It's not TV or radio, just one click, download the show. Grab some coffee, take your seat. We've got friends you'd like to meet. Branson Webcast Show, Hamner, Barber, here we go. Laugh along and have some fun. It's a show for everyone.
We're on the World Wide Web at BransonWebcast.com. And now, here are your hosts, Hamner and Barber.
Well, thank you, Craig Burnett and Ricky Bowen and Texas Mud for our theme music. And welcome back to the webcast with our very, very special guest, Marshall Lytle of the original Comets.
Oh,
so great.
Great to be here.
You're a real legend in rock and roll, man. You really are. And I'm really honored. I've been looking forward to having you on the webcast.
Well, I'm really honored to be here with you guys because I've seen your show and I just love every minute of it. And we love Branson. We moved here. The original Comets moved here 3 years ago when Dick Clark's American Bandstand Theater opened.
Yes.
And we're planning on being here forever, man.
We hope so.
We bought homes and we ain't moving.
Oh, well, you're a huge asset to Branson, and you've got such a fantastic
The energy
show.
that they put on the stage is unbelievable.
Marshall slaps that bass around like I mean, you really kind of invented that whole method of slapping the bass, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Well, Bill Haley taught me how to play the bass and how to slap it. And then I learned all the other stuff on my own because he when he hired me back in 1951, he said, well, I need a bass player. And I said, Bill, I'm a guitar player. And he said, well, I'll teach you how to play the bass in about 30 minutes. I said, come on. He said,
wow.
He said, well, all you got to do is know how to slap it, and then you can learn the notes later on. So he showed me the three basic notes that you would use in a bass run. And so I went over and he showed me about 30 minutes. And I said, hell, I can do that. So I went down and bought a bass fiddle that afternoon and went to work for him that night.
Wow. And
it's been a ball ever since.
Yeah.
How long did you have the Comets before you started becoming nationally successful?
Well, we had our first hit record in 1952. It was called We're Gonna Rock This Joint Tonight. We took the record to Cleveland, Ohio, and a disc jockey there by the name of Alan Freed. He had just become very popular, and he was playing rhythm and blues music and known all over the Cleveland area as the King of the Moondogs. And rock and roll hadn't been invented yet, but it was on its way. And while he played our record one night, he left the microphone switch on, and he kept yelling, rock and roll, everybody, rock and roll. And the telephone for the radio station just went bananas, and people kept calling up, and they say, well, play that rock and roll song again. And he played it 12 times that night.
So he was just meaning to just get busy,
Oh,
rock
yeah.
and roll.
Oh, yeah. And people kept calling up and said, play that rock and roll song again. And believe me, I think that's the night that rock and roll got its name.
Was born.
And parents of teenagers across the nation went into fear.
Yes, they did.
And the churches all banned it.
They sure did.
Oh, my goodness. You know, you had a big resurgence with American Graffiti and Happy Days.
Yes, we Rock Around the Clock is a magic song that has actually it's sold over 80 million copies for us around the world, and it's been used in over 50 films. Wow. And television shows, and it just every once in a while it goes into a movie and it becomes a hit again.
Oh yeah.
And so we're very proud of the fact that Rock Around the Clock is one of the best-selling songs that's ever been recorded.
When the clock strikes 12 o'clock, then start rocking around the clock again. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight. We love you all. God bless you, folks.
You
you've had many TV appearances and so forth. Can you share a few of those with us?
Oh, we had shows like Milton Berle's show back in the 50s. Was Uncle Milty was the king of the television screens back in those days. And then Ed Sullivan, we did Ed Sullivan's show several times. We did the old Tommy Dorsey show was one of the first ones that we were on. And here's a little trivia for you that a lot of people don't realize, but the Dorsey show was the first show that Elvis was ever on.
Really?
And everybody thinks it was Ed Sullivan, but it wasn't. The first network television show was done in January of 1956, and he was introduced on the Dorsey show by a disc jockey from Cleveland, Ohio, by the name of Bill Randall. Bill Randall was a discoverer of stars and put acts together and was quite, very, very popular in the music field for many, many years. He just passed away 2 or 3 years ago. In fact, we made a motion picture in 1955 in Cleveland, Ohio, that Elvis was in. It was shown one time.
Really?
It was shown in the high school auditorium in Brooklyn, a suburb of Cleveland. That's where it was filmed.
Yeah.
It was a live stage show. Pat Boone was on it with us, the Four Lads, and a young lady from Canada who had a hit record, and I forgot her name, and Elvis Presley. And it was shown one time and then it disappeared.
I wonder where it is.
We don't know.
That would be a treasure if we could find that.
Oh, I tell you, many people have been looking for it. The title of it was called The Pied Piper of Cleveland.
Wow.
And it was a story of a disc jockey who was discovered stars.
Yes.
And so...
I will be Googling it tonight. Wow.
The Pied Piper of Cleveland. And there is a kind of a story or a thought or a rumor. There's a rumor that Colonel Parker bought it and destroyed it.
Oh, because he didn't like the way Elvis was
No,
portrayed?
because Elvis wasn't the star then.
Oh.
This was one of Elvis's first films.
A precursor to
Yeah, and he played second fiddle to everybody, and he was kind of, a big up-and-coming star, but nobody knew who he was then.
How old were you when you started touring around the country for the first time?
I was 18 years old when I went with Bill Haley, and I was 19 when we started making some hit records, and I was 20 when we recorded Rock Around the Clock.
Wow.
And what was life like for you on the road as an 18, 19-year-old?
I tell you, it was. I've always been starstruck. Being with you guys is a thrill.
I understand.
It is a thrill for me. And when we made some of the movies in Hollywood, we'd go in the commissary and sit and have lunch with stars sitting all around us, and you're looking at Bing Crosby and Jeff Chandler and Gary Cooper and all these big stars, and you're just kind of shaking, saying, "Oh man, look here, pinch me, make sure that I'm alive," And it was just a lot of fun, and but we experienced a little bit of what the Beatles experienced when they arrived in America. The reaction that they got, we had already had. Yeah, 10 years earlier.
And look where it's gone today. I mean, rock and roll, of course, is here for forever. As they say, rock and roll is here to stay. And you were right there at the beginning. And the thing I really like about you, Marshall, is that you've paid your dues. You've done everything. You've worked with everybody in the business. You really are a big star in the world of music, but yet you're one of the most humble and down-to-earth, normal people that I've ever met.
Well, thank you.
And I see you'll pull up on your motorcycle, or you got this new little car. What kind of car are you driving?
what is that? It gets 40-something miles a
got
gallon.
This little
It's a
insect
smart
of a car.
It's a smart car.
A smart
I don't know how smart it is, but that's the name of it, a smart car. and I got it over the internet. Glenn Patch, that owns the Dick Clark Theater, told me about it, and he said, well, you can buy one for $99 on the internet. And so I went on the internet and I put down my credit card and I ordered one. It took me a year later to get it.
Yeah.
Because they had so many back orders. And when I went to, it arrived in America because they had to set up a distribution network. And the Mercedes dealers are handling the smart car. And the closest one where my car would come into was in Tulsa. So I had a friend here in Branson that had an airplane, and he flew my girlfriend and I over to Tulsa to pick up my car.
Yes.
And
did they carry it on the plane with them?
no.
What about the legroom? I saw you get out of it. Does it have?
It's surprisingly spacious inside.
Really?
Yeah, Dave. It just is something you can even wear a cowboy hat in it.
Can you put your bass fiddle in there?
No, I can't put my bass in it, but my golf clubs I can.
Well, you know, I think that's the first one in Branson. I've never seen one like
Well,
that.
it's very recognizable because it's the only red one in Branson.
Yeah.
But I did see a white one and a blue one. And
well, we're patriotic here.
Yeah,
so.
we are. Red, white, and blue. And when we got back from Tulsa after picking it up, my girlfriend lives down in Florida. Her name is Kathy, and she's sitting over there.
Yeah, she's lovely, too.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And she liked that little car so much, she ordered one for herself.
Oh, my goodness.
A convertible.
Well, you said $99. Is that the down
Just
payment?
to hold it.
That's a fee just to hold the car.
Yes.
and make your order as to how you want it. And you want to order their color and your upgrades and, you know, your stereos and all that. And they'll build it for you. And then when it arrives, you can either say, yes, I'm going to take it, or no, I won't, because
It'll go like a
there's a
hotcake.
lot of other people sitting in line waiting to buy those things.
Well, they should give you some commissions now that we're plugging the.
That's
Oh,
right.
I
And this is
know.
going out internationally.
Oh, my
All
God.
over the world.
Yeah, smart car people, send us a car.
we could change it to the Comet. You know,
And
with-
I need one for the other foot.
yeah, they do look kind of like a shoe, don't they? Yeah. Or roller skate.
Yeah.
Well, it's incredible when it gets that much gas mileage. But and once again, speaking of the mileage, what was the performance that you remember most out of all the performances you traveled with and performed? What was the performance you remember the most in your life?
Oh boy, there's so many of them, and if I had to narrow one down to the one that I felt was probably the one that did us the most good, was the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
On a Sunday night in New
And what
York.
year was that again?
That was 1955.
55.
Do you recall some of the other acts on the show? 'Cause-
Oh yeah, that particular show, they had Jack Palance was on.
The actor.
The actor Jack.
And what was he doing?
He was playing the part of a human fish.
Of course. I now the human fish, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is.
It was a Shakespeare show that was done, and they had Raymond Massey.
Yes.
Was on the show,
Yeah.
and just a number of great actors, and they were doing Shakespeare, and right in the middle of it was us, rock around the clock.
So he was being unique about. Well, it was a unique show.
That show is different every week. you
It
know,
is.
It really
It
was.
It was quite a rundown, and people just had such a want to see all of those Ed Sullivan shows.
Do you have footage of that appearance? You
yeah,
do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We use it. We use a little portion of it on our opening video for our show at Dick Clark's Theater. We do a little history video at the beginning to show how we started from a country and western band into, and we discovered rock and roll music, and we honed our talents along with different kinds of music and different beats to create what was now known as rock and roll. And
it's really an incredible show that you put on, and high energy, and it's really something that all ages enjoy. And
we're very honored to be able to do what we do at our ages. Joe, our saxophone player, the original saxophone player with Bill Haley's band, he started with Bill in 1953 as the saxophone player, and he was on all the hit records. And then Dick, our drummer, also started in the same year. But I had been with Bill for a whole year before that because we were a country group and we didn't have drums. In fact, on our first hit record, we had no drums. And Bill made me play real hard.
The bass really is the beat.
It was the percussion instrument along with the bass. The way I slap it with a shuffle beat, boom, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And then he always hollered and said, "Play it louder, Marshall, play it louder." And then
well, they didn't have all the electronics back then
no,
to pick it up and amplify the sound.
I didn't even have an amplifier.
What's different about your show today than when you were doing it before?
Well, we've got a wonderful sound system, and I've got an amplified bass, and all the other instruments are amplified, and we've got a sound man that mixes everything and makes it sound good.
But the audience is the same, aren't they?
The audiences are the same.
They scream and shout and
they really are.
It's amazing.
We're one of the few acts in Branson that get standing ovations without the use of an American flag.
That's yes, that is true. That's true. But you know, out here we're very patriotic.
I know
too.
we are patriotic.
But you've become an American icon.
Exactly.
Really, you have. And,
well, we're very lucky to be able to do what we do at our ages, and we're just going to keep doing it. We're going to rock.
You're about 47 now, are you?
Yeah, I'm about that.
Let's go over some of There's Rock Around the Clock, of course.
Yes.
See You Later, Alligator.
Yes. Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
We had our first one was Crazy Man Crazy. Bill Haley and I wrote that song in his kitchen in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
While his wife made us a sandwich for lunch.
Crazy Man. Did you talk like that back then? Crazy. Oh, I dig it.
Well,
man.
where that came from,
Cool, Daddy-O.
Where that came from was we used to promote our shows to the high school kids. We used to do high school assemblies, and Bill wanted to get the feel of how the kids liked our music. And one day, after one of our high school performances, the kids followed us out to the cars while we were loading our instruments, and Bill says, "How'd you guys like our show and our music?" And one kid said, "That's crazy, man, crazy."
There it is.
And there it
That's
was.
a hit song.
Bill wrote it down on the palm of his hand, and we went back to his apartment where he was living, and his wife was making lunch for us, and Bill grabbed a guitar, and he hit a note, and he said, "Crazy man, crazy," and then another, "Crazy man, crazy," and and then I started throwing lines in with him, and we wrote the song in 30 minutes, and it was our first hit that actually hit the Billboard charts as the first rock and roll song.
And does that student get royalties from
Yeah,
that?
he should. He should.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, Marshall, I know you've got a show coming up, and you got to get back in your roller skate and get over to the theater. But thank you so much for being on. Anything else you want to share?
No, I just want to share that we are here in Branson, and we hope that all the folks will come down and visit us. And
Now, it's at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock?
We're on at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock at the Dick Clark's
American Bandstand Theater.
Right.
Yes, and then there are some weeks that we also do a show at 8 o'clock.
Okay. And what are those nights?
Coming up in the month of August, from the 5th of August to the 24th of August, we're going to be doing a show at 2 p.m. and another show at 8 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah,
gonna be great.
So it's going to be fun.
Do you have a website where
Yes.
people can go and look at it?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, if you'd like to see a little of the history of the original Comets, you can look at theoriginalcomets.com.
Very good.
And has a www in front of it.
Make sure you get out and see the Comets. They're a wonderful group, and you will love it. It'll bring you back. It really will.
Come on over, folks.
Thank you. Marshall Lytle, our special guest on the webcast.
Thank you, guys.
You've been listening to BransonWebcast.com with your hosts Dave Hamner and Jim Barber. Join us next time for more interviews, music, and fun from Branson, Missouri.
Y'all come back and hear us soon. Hope you liked our little tune. Next time on the internet, we'll have new friends you haven't met. Branson Webcast Show, spread the word to all you know. On the web and having fun, it's the show for everyone.
This is your announcer, Craig Burnett, saying thanks for joining us and come back real soon for more fun at BransonWebcast.com.